Hey guys, welcome back to the blues lesson video series. So in the last couple of videos we covered the triplet feel, swing feel, which is derived from the triplet, and then in the follow-up video we covered a Charleston rhythm, or the Charleston rhythm and a Charleston rhythm variation. So this video we're going to cover 3 comping or strum patterns, and it's going to bring all of that full circle, so to speak, and perhaps be a little bit more advanced or a little bit of a chop buster. Might have to spend a little bit more time with them, but we're going to bring swing eighth notes and triplets together. We're going to include syncopation. We're going to have weak beat emphasis. So a lot of different things going on. So the first pattern that we're going to do, you're going to have a strum on 1, the and of 1, and then on the and of 2, 3, and 4. So that might be a little difficult to understand explaining it like that, but we'll just play through it. I'll play it quickly and then I'll kind of show you how to break it down step by step. So here it is, just on an A7 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a lot of syncopation, a lot of upbeat strumming or up strums. So a handy way to go about working that into your playing physically, and also keeping connected with the counting and the rhythm, timing, all that stuff, is to just play eighth notes, down, up, swing eighth notes, of course, and then I'll kind of walk you through that. We'll start that way. So just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then when you're ready, just eliminate the strums on 2, 3, and 4. Beats 2, 3, and 4 like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, all right, you practice that for a little bit, and then you practice getting that mute back in there. Now remember, don't slap the strings, don't put a lot of tension in your body, just keep moving as you mute the strings. It's kind of like your arm is mimicking the down strum. It's got the same motion going on, but we're just going in to gently rest on the strings to get that muted sound so we can really feel that upbeat emphasis or syncopation. So slowly that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's play through it that way, all the way through the 12-bar blues in A7, D7, and E7. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. E7. So I don't want to give you guys too much to think about, but as I was going through that, I realized that I'm doing something without really thinking about it. I'm pulsing my fingers as far as, you know, whatever fingers I have on an A7 chord or an E7 chord or D7 chord. I'm pulsing those. So every time I'm strumming up, or sorry, when I'm muting the strings, I'm releasing that pressure, and that's just kind of an instinctive thing for me. It'll happen a lot with, you'll do that a lot with bar chords, and in that instance, the left hand can kind of take care of everything for you. The right hand doesn't really have to worry about it and can keep moving. So if there is a variation or a difference in your sound, that really shouldn't affect it, you know, because you're still getting the meter in the right hand. But if you find that is happening naturally, great. It won't make much of a difference, and it won't change the sound, but could come in handy later on maybe. Let's play that up tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So let's move on to the second comping pattern. This one is a little weird because we're not going to play anything on one at all. So it's a weak beat emphasis. We're going to enter on beat 2, and you want to do that with at least a metronome, but probably better to do it if you're playing in a group or with a backing track, so you know where beat 1 is, because you'll hear it. It can trick you into thinking that what you're playing on beat 2 is actually beat 1, and if your ear gets turned around that way, then it gets a little tricky. So anyways, it's going to be 3 hits. We've got a strum on 2, the and of 3 and 4, so it's going to sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so strum on 2, down strum on 2, up strum on the and of 3, down strum on 4, and then we're muting the strings after that, and then of course we're muted on 1. So let me just do that one more time on the A7, so you can warm up with that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and down, up, down, 1 and down, up, down. Here we go, all the way through the 12-bar blues. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. We're going to speed this up. I'm not going to count all the way through. My mouth is getting so dry as I'm counting out loud like that. But like I said, spend a lot of time with this one. This is good because there's going to be a lot of other things happening band-wise, depending on what setting you're playing in, where other instruments are going to be taking care of that downbeat. So if you're comping and you have this emphasis on the weak beat and you're not playing anything on one, it's going to sound really interesting. So that's something to keep in mind in the strum patterns that you play, right? To kind of do something that everybody else isn't doing, but will also blend well. Here we go, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the final one is going to have syncopation, triplets, and swing fill, all 3 in 1, and some muting. So our first drum is going to be on the and of 1, so nothing on the downbeat of 1, which is already interesting, right? If we don't have anything right on that downbeat and we're already putting a little emphasis on syncopation, it's going to sound great. And beat 2 is going to be a triplet, down, up, down. And then beat 3 is going to be swung 8th notes, down, up. So on an A7 chord, that will sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then nothing on 4. Let me play a couple of measures of that through for you guys, just so you can kind of get the feel of it and hear it play along. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So a little bit, maybe a little tricky in the hand, and when you speed this one up, sounds great. But you want to make sure that, in your mind's eye, you got everything kind of mentally, visually, physically prepared. You want to be on top of it all. So all the way through the 12-bar blues form. Here we go. I'm not going to count out all the way through, so just try and follow along. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Let's speed that up. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and. Good job, guys. Spend a lot of time with those. You'll get a lot of material out of that. And when you're able to start blending this stuff because your ear is picking up on it, that's when it really starts grooving, and you don't have to think about all that counting and what direction am I going to strum, and you just kind of listen to the music and you know what sounds good, because that's always the most important thing. So find as many different ways to play those as you can. Let me know if you have any questions about triplet, swing feel, all that stuff. If I can help you understand it a different way, then I'd certainly like to do that. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.